and Chairman, Sectional Committee, Bureau of Indian Standards. Welcome, sir. We have Shri Manaj Alam from the Ministry of Food Processing. Manaj Alam, sir, is Joint Secretary, Ministry of Food Processing. We are glad that you could take out time, sir, to be a part of this this panel discussion through your busy schedule. We've got Dr. Jindal, a veteran in the industry itself, who's our president for All India Food Processors Association. Mr. P.L. Kaul, CMD for Central India. Mr. Navdeep Mehram, Director of Tetra Pak, and no one better than Tetra Pak to talk about packaging. Mr. Vidhan Das, Deputy Director, IIP, Indian Institute of Packaging. Dr. S. Anand Kumar, Assistant Professor and Head of Food Packaging and System Development at Indian Institute of Food Processing Technology. Head Technology Transfer and Business Development Department at CFTRI. It's a privilege to welcome all of you as you know, a young part of this industry who have so much experience in invaluable, and to welcome all of you to deliberate on. And we are here to talk about packaging and the importance of packaging for our sector of horticulture and processing industry. Undoubtedly, has been key in making processed foods grow across the world. It not just forms an essential ingredient for food preservation and minimizing food wastage, but a very essential part of how we perceive food brands and food products to be. It's getting increasingly more important, both the technical front and that is on the communication front, to unique and distinct packaging which serves our functional needs. So packaging has been, important for many years to safeguard our food, to get shelf life, to get our safely to our consumers, and it's also become now a global, a multi-trillion dollar business worldwide. And today it has a much wider role to play, especially given the COVID-19 pandemic that we are all facing through. So it is a huge challenge for the food processing industry, as well as an opportunity for us to actually safeguard our consumers and deliver food safely to them. So packaging is one of the key mediums to ensure that we are able to do that. Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes. You continue, sir.
Great. So one of the things extremely important, and packaging has been a subject for us at Barclays, we're a health foods business. It's extremely important from a technical standpoint, be it shelf life, be it drug safety, be it ingredients for our customers. Also perceive brands. Efficiency to give differentiation just surely by the work, the visual, the shape of a good example in our segment of breakfast cereals at Cereals UK, which is game packaging is concerned to it changed the brand totally from being a British brand whose availability was in Dorset in the UK worldwide. Some feedback about the network.
So now I would request Dr. Hello.
Is it better now, Mataji?
Yes.
So, without much further ado, I'd like to say that packaging is here to stay, and there are new normals post COVID-19. So, before this session, I was talking to some of our consumer researchers who work with us at Barclays, and one of the key challenges that consumers face is now even been the fact that when products, consumers are now quarantining packaged food outside for 3 to 5 days. So this packaging substrate itself has changed in terms of what is required now to deal with these new normals. Those would be probably some of the deliberations that we'd like to do with the packaged food industry. And I'd like to once to this session in the afternoon, and I'd like to thank ICC for organizing it. And on behalf of ICC, I'd like to welcome all the distinguished speakers who've taken out their time and from their busy schedule to speak to us. And I'd like to request Dr. N.C. Saha to kindly take over as moderator for today's session. Mr. Saha, can have you as the moderator.
Yeah. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Aditya Bagri, the of the food processing and agribusiness of Indian Chamber of Commerce, for making a nice introduction. And I'm extremely happy to get this invitation from ICC for this one day. I think it's about 2.5 hours, the e-conference on a very important topic, the opportunities in packaging industry for the horticulture and food sector of India, by highlighting the few important agenda which has to be covered by the various speakers: the impact of COVID-19 crisis in the packaging industry, the major changes faced by the packaging company, the future techniques and technology driver in the packaging industry, competitiveness in the production, and cost of the packaging and the selection of material. Now, keeping in view this important agenda, I thought let me give some of the comments from my side. All of you will agree with me that food packaging is always important, as a very important subject for the country like India, where and we need to feed them with the nutritious food, where the most important aspect is the availability of food, where no doubt that agriculture and horticultural sector of our country has made a tremendous and wonderful work, and the country is now completely self-reliant of the food products due to the various scheme what we had, a green revolution and white revolution and so on. But at the same time, the preservation of food and with an enhanced shelf life, the storage distribution considered to be the most important, and where the food packaging plays a vital role. India is considered to be the world's 5th largest packaging industry. The packaging industry in India is very dynamic, and which influences to all other industries directly or indirectly. The packaging industry has recorded about $38 billion in 2017, with an annual growth rate about 11 to 13%. But I'm sure all of you will agree that because outbreak of COVID-19, the trend will be definitely changed beyond this COVID-19 after that. But during this COVID-19, the packaging industry has got a huge experience, and I think everyone will agree it's not only this packaging industry, all the industries have got very much affected. More interestingly, we find even on during the first lockdown, the 21 days which was imposed by the government of India, the packaging industry as compared to the other sector was not much impact was happening. The reason behind, because these are also considered under essential category, as packaging materials required to supply the packaging material for the processed foods and the pharmaceutical. In my opinion, there was not much impact, though this packaging industry had to face many challenges, and they have to run their operation only the 20% manpower, and with the limitation also the supply chain and so on. And they have to maintain the protocol as per the government notification, the social distancing at the production unit, non-availability of transport, and the supply chain management. So what I believe that post-COVID, we are slowly after this unlock 1, now the government is imposed after 5 lockdown. This is an unlock 1 stage is going on, and we are hoping so by another 3 months, maybe September middle, or maybe in the end of this year, by the December, when the vaccine would come to the country, slowly this country will become in the normal condition. But to understand, this normal will not be a normal. This I say always is a new normal. Why it is a new normal? Because we all expect that when this normals will come, there will be something different, and there are a lot of changes which we consider as a socio-economic changes is going to happen to this country. The first of all, there will be change in lifestyle. because there will be a lot of demand on the essential for mainly the groceries and medicines, and people will be very much conservative for the expenses toward the non-essential commodity. We also believe that there will be people will still maintaining the social distancing and the sanitization what we have been using, that will be keep on continuing for some time, because this has become more or less a habit. This kind of e-conference or webinar will continue. This is all the lifestyle will change. We find in the industry segment, just to not to touch the product, a lot of automation would be coming, and more importantly, the consumer will become more safety and hygienic condition to be considered. It is expected that there will be a lot of increase of the demand for the e-commerce, and that's the online shopping will come. More demand will come for the takeaway foods, which is expecting. But when you talk about what are the future driver for the food packaging industry, I had an opportunity to discuss with Dr. Zindal, the Subodh Zindal, who is also one of our panelists. And I just shared with him that how the government of India is also really looking into that. And we are very happy to see with us Sri Minhaj Alam, the senior IAS officer, the Joint Secretary, the Minister of Food Processing Industry, whom I know personally, and his kind presence, you will be definitely throw some light on that, what the government of India is thinking about for the growth of the food packaging industry. But when you talk about what is the driver for the food packaging, I feel there are certain technology one is to look into that, and all of you will agree that the most important thing is coming about ready-to-eat food like retort packaging, aseptic packaging, breathing film, modified atmosphere packaging, and we also say controlled atmosphere packaging and so on. But when you talk about the industry 4.0, the most important thing which is coming out is called the smart and intelligent packaging. Post COVID-19, there will be huge demand about the smart and intelligent packaging. There will be a concern about by the consumer. They will not touch to the packet, and they would like to see the package. It has got a biosensor just to indicate that this package is completely free from microorganisms. That kind of demand would come out. There is also the time and temperature indicator. The package itself can say that whether package is a warm product or not. There is also the indicator will come, which comes under the smart packaging, like this is called freshness indicator, whether the product is fresh or not, the fresh fruits. By changing the color, like photochromatic ink can be included. There will be a ripening indicator. This all comes on the smart packaging. There is a chances of getting the RFID, the radio frequency identification device, which gives the traceability or trackability of what the package is moving. We also expect that there will be a lot of demand of the microwave packaging, because lots of the people, as of now in the lockdown stage, they want to warm the package. So the microwave packaging, there will be great demand. There's a demand is also expected by the anti-microbial packaging. Now, these are the certain technology which is related to the food packaging sector, which would be coming. But let's think about what's in Indian condition. Very unfortunately, whatever the technology I explained here, most of the technology not yet been commercialized to the Indian condition. There are certain limitations which I said I'll highlight, but I am sure that Dr. Subodh Zindal, he would also highlight, because we had a long discussion yesterday. But when you talk about the packaging cost, we find the Indian packaging industry, who are very much connected to the food sector, they are really facing certain great challenges and difficulties. Let me talk one by one. As such, in India, there are about 24,000 packaging industry, which includes our packaging raw material, converter, packaging machinery, ancillary material, and also the technology provider. Most important part is 90% of the packaging industry comes under the bracket of MSME sector. Due to that, they have a huge challenges in terms of capital investment. When you talk about the research, this MSME segment really can't spend money for the research part, and that is the reason we find in the machinery segment till today in India, the Indian packaging machinery has not grown that much. There are most of the machineries are manufactured on a semi-automatic. If we really look for an automatic machine, we have to import from either China or Taiwan, or maybe in the printing machine from the European market. Mostly it is the Germany and Italy. When you talk about the raw material, we have a challenges about the paper industry. The Indian paper industry is facing a great difficulties. Mostly I talk about the food industry, where the secondary packaging, the corrugated fiber board for the box making. The kraft paper, the kraft is a German word, is supposed to be the strongest paper, but the of the soft pulp, and which comes from the long fiber of the soft wood. But unfortunately, in India being a tropical country, we have a lot of scarcity about the soft wood. The soft wood is not at all there. We have an hardwood, and which are going for other application, like for making a wooden pallet or wooden box or the furniture industry. As a result, the Indian paper industry, they are completely dependent on the bagasse, which is the waste material after the sugarcane juice is extracted. And as a result, the consistency of the fiber length is not there, and we don't get that much of strength what is supposed to be in case of kraft paper. And due to this fact, the paper industry, they are required to import the pulp of softwood pulp to match the strength properties as per the international market. We also find in case of the tin plate, we do have a few industries who are Tata Tin Plate or Jindal Steel Works, JSW, they have been doing an excellent work, but still we find the kind of production they have, there is a gap. Now to fill up this gap, the Indian manufacturer, I mean mainly the converter, they have been importing the tin plate, and that is also leads to the cost of the packaging is little high. When you talk about the
Sir,
technology, when we say aseptic, retort,
sir,
digital, yeah.
sir,
When you
just
talk,
sorry to,
yeah,
sir, sorry to,
just wait 1 minute, then I'll bring to, yeah,
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 Mr.
hello.
Medium has to
So I
leave
think
for
there is
the,
a, yes, I'm watching that. Yeah, so with that, I find that there are limitation is coming in the R&D sector, and where I personally feel there is a need of the intervention by the government of India for the upgradation of R&D facility, mainly for the processed food industry. And we are very fortunate to have with us today Sri Minhaj Alam, the Joint Secretary, the Senior IAS Officer of the Ministry of Food Processing Industries, Government of India, would be definitely throw some light on that and how really the government interference can come to help the MSME sector for the growth and upgradation of research and development for the food packaging sector. Over to Minhaj.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Saha.
Yes, sir.
All respected dignitaries, Mr. Bagri, Mr. Kanodia, Mr. Vomik, Mr. Jindal, and all other distinguished guests. I'm very happy to address you on this occasion. And it is very important topic is packaging, particularly for the horticulture and processing sector. We know India is mainly an agriculture nation where we have more than 60% of population is dependent on agriculture, and agriculture also earns around 20% export income for the country. And we are leading producers of fruits and also second largest producer of vegetables in the world. And horticulture production is increasing, and I think it may even cross the production of food grains in the country. But the problems which we face is that the life of a fresh horticulture crop is very limited. It may vary from a few hours to a few days. There is very high wastage as per a survey and study done by this ministry through CFET Ludhiana. It was found that yearly we lose thousands of crores of food grains and also horticulture crops. So it's very essential that we need to reduce wastage, because every food waste, if we stop the wastage, it will be like additional food available to the people of the country. So packaging is a very important part, because packaging protects fruits and vegetables from damage. Because the damage to fruits and vegetables are so much post-harvest losses there. And one reason for loss is that we are not able to package it very well. The other reasons are due to lack of infrastructure, ports infrastructure, other storage infrastructure, agri-logistics and all. So packaging is very important part, because this will save a lot of fruits and vegetables from damage. This will result in increased availability of fruits and vegetables for the consumers, reduce price at a level of consumers, and packaging will increase the shelf life, because if you package it, the life will be more, so that it will be easy to transport from one part of the country to other part of the country. And also it is very necessary for the marketing purpose, because because packaging is because people now want better packaged product for purchase. If quality of product is same, then those products which are better packaged, it is likely that they will be sold in more quantity. And there is need to promote packaging, because packaging in industry in India needs quite support from government. One issue is that R&D in packaging, because we are right now we are seeing that this R&D in packaging is not that much. This industry also has supported some so many R&D support, but it is very difficult to get it commercialized. So unless this private sector tie up with this various institutes who are doing R&D, just like Indian Institute of Packaging, so it is not easy to commercialize those products. So commercialization of product is so essential, and more because good quality packaging is required, because more and more exports are happening. Indian companies are now adopting best practices, and they are increasing exports of agriculture products from the country. EPIDA is supporting these exports from the country. So this packaging, role of packaging is going to increase in time. And what we right now require is eco-friendly packaging, because those packaging which do not harm environment, that is the need of the hour. Because we have seen that we have to slowly and dispense with use of plastics in packaging, and we need to develop high quality packaging. And with the post-COVID world, we know that there's a greater concern about food safety throughout the world, and in India also it is food safety is a very important issue. And the entire our food procurement, processing and packaging technology, as well as distribution system, has very important role to ensure food safety. And the demand for the loose products is going to decrease, and demand for processed and packaged products is going to increase, because there are quality guidelines fixed by FSSAI for packaged products, which is not applicable to loose product. So demand for packaged product is going to increase in time. So we need to have packaging industry also has to gear up. We need to have more investment in R&D by private sector and government sector. And we also need to support in our schemes, particularly when we support for mega food park agro processing cluster. So as part of common processing facilities, we support packaging also. So packaging, those promoters who set up units under this scheme, they can very well get advantage of the common infrastructure which uses this facility for packaging also. So in time, now because post-COVID, these issues are there, we need to also, in government, we need to also have fresh thinking, and to how to deal with this post-COVID world, how to increase and promote food processing. A new scheme has been announced recently for micro food enterprises, where we are going to help and upgrade this capacity and with of micro food enterprises throughout the country. We will provide them quality machinery so that they can upgrade the quality. And at micro food industry level also, furnace level also, we need to have to give them technology to have better packaging, because at that level they are not able to compete with multinational brands, other brands, because those are very well packaged and all, as compared to small enterprises. So that we need to transfer technology at cheaper rate to this industries, small industries, so that they can also compete with large industries and all. So overall, this packaging is very important part of this food processing, and that ministry also we know, and we will also to help as much as possible and to packaging industry, and try to support more and more R&D in this packaging sector. Once again, I thank ICC and everybody who is here for their efforts and for their concerns regarding this issue of packaging in the food processing sector. I conclude my words. Thanks.
Thank you so much for your kind, inspiring speech, and I'm sure that this will give a lot of courage to our food packaging industry who are really looking after the food processing sector. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you once again
Thanks.
to our chief guest of this conference, Mr. Minhaz Alam. Thank you, sir. Now I move on to our next speaker, Mr. Dr. Subodh Zindal. I think he is a very well-known figure in the food processing industry. He is the president of All India Food Processors Association and also the chairman Taxation and Foreign Trade Committee. He himself is a food processor over the last 38 years of experience, and he is well versed in the operation of food industry, has made a tremendous and immense contribution to the growth of this sector. He is very well known to most of the conference and the seminar and involved to the taxation part from the industry side. Now, I would request Dr. Subodh Zindal to make a comments, and I think your time is about 10 minutes time. Within 10 minutes, I would request you to highlight about your important issues, how really we can grow the food packaging area, and what's your comment from the processing industry side. Over to Dr. Zindal.
Good evening to everyone. Thank you, Dr. Saha. My grateful thanks to ICC, Mr. Aditya Bagdi, and our chief guest, Minhaj Alam. Learned analysts and you see, that today we are discussing on a very important topic because food today is marketable only when it is in a proper package. Markets have become national and global, and for all the reasons which have been referred so far: safety, security, hygiene, shelf life, transportability, e-commerce, traceability, the smart packaging benefits, all of these show us that packaging is as important as the content that it carries. In the food sector, we have two broad classifications of packaging. That is the primary packaging, where the container in which the food is put, and the secondary packaging, which covers that or makes it sturdy enough to be transported and to carry all the information and indications on the package. Now, friends, as I would understand that we have a lot of industry participants and we also have some entrepreneurs. The idea of this webinar was to speak about opportunities, right? So I would like to say here that this is one sector like food where the micro, small and medium sector industries have a lot of scope. No doubt, large sector has to play its own role. I will come to that. But whether we talk of primary packaging, pouches, we talk of bottles, we talk of cans, we talk of plastic jars, we talk of other paper packaging, it is not a one standalone product. It is a chain activity. And the chain activity begins with some processes being done at a smaller scale. And then if somebody makes paper, then somebody takes it to the conversion, somebody prints it, somebody actually does the final presentation of the package. So a lot of scope exists at different levels of operation where the entire MSME industry system can find some opportunity. As far as the large sector is concerned, it is equally important. Tin plate cannot be manufactured by everybody. Okay, glass cannot be manufactured by everybody. Polygranules cannot be manufactured by small or medium units. Right? The packaging machinery has to be manufactured by some larger engineering houses. So I always think that packaging is one sector which combines the talent, the resources, the technologies, the initiative of different levels put together, and therefore we should take it as a holistic sector, which is a big teamwork. Okay, and therefore it has opportunities for everyone. Now, as an industry, background, my responsibility also lies to the fact that how does packaging finally serve the food industry? To start with, let's go with the most established and sturdy and durable packaging, that is the metal cans, which has been in use since the First World War, and India has been using this since independence. We remember the old times when Metal Box and Posha used to be the units to make metal cans, and the machinery also to seal and form the cans. Now here the challenge today is the raw material, and that is the prime quality tin plate, which makes the food cans. We call them OTS cans also, or open top sanitary cans. Now oils, juices, canned fruits, canned vegetables, milk products, ready to eat foods, a lot of the food segments use metal cans, and beverages. The deficiency that we have is that we use almost 4 lakh metric tons of tin plate every year. But our indigenous production capacity, which is also thanks to 2 large-scale units, that is the Tata's Tin Plate Company of India Limited and the Jindal Steel Works, which cover about 4 lakh tons. So we still have a shortfall, and we import it. Now, it is our objective and government's target that with so much of work growing and going further all over the country, tin plate should also be one of the government's agendas. In fact, we should be excess producers. We should be supplying tin plate to the world. So this is one takeaway which I will request our honorable chief guest, Alam Saab, to put it to the government, that why only 2 units, only 2 companies? We should have 20 companies. And how to promote them, how to get them to make that, the quality, the technology, the equipment required, and therefore our tin plate should be cheaper than the world. We have the basic iron ore, we make the cold rolled or the steel rolls, then we can do electrolyting. We have the entire chain. So that's one thing. And now, even yesterday and today, I was deliberating with our can manufacturers. There is a talk of putting some anti-dumping duty for import of tin. While we say we have a lot of opportunity, we have to consider these finer aspects also. If we put anti-dumping duty on this shortfall of 3 lakh tons of tin plate, what will happen? This cost will come on the food industry. So unit cost of the can, the product, will increase, and finally it will go to the consumer. So this is an important point we have to consider, and not go in very rashly to increase the duty on the tin plate, whatever we are naming it as anti-dumping or otherwise. Okay. Now, similarly, we come to our paper products. Dr. Saha said that we don't have the right quality of softwood. Our craft paper is not of that strength. This needs a national policy as to what kind of forestry should be there. We can recycle the forests which have the kind of trees which give the wood for long grain, long fiber. which is suitable for making craft paper, we should be able to strengthen that. And again, if we are the 5th largest producer of packaging material overall in the world, then this is the right time that we have to take the jump. And we say, no, we will export craft paper. We will export the package made out of craft paper. And we saw in that during all this COVID crisis, the innovation has taken to the extent that patient beds were made out of craft paper rolls, sheets. So again, it requires national policy as to how to develop our craft paper, and for that backward linkage is required, how to grow those kind of trees and to handle that pulp to make good quality packaging. Okay. Then we come to the plastics. You see, it's a very important subject to understand carefully. We may say sentimentally that plastics are not good, they have environmental damage, they have carbon footprint issues. Yes, but then criticizing something does not work unless we are able to develop an alternative. So this is the third important take for the government and for the that we have to develop alternatives if we are clear in our minds that yes, we have to do away with plastic packaging. It cannot be done overnight. We have to work for it. And such research cannot be done by industry alone. It has to be done in combination with some research institutions of the government where there are sufficient budgets, permissions, there are sufficient program schedules that these are the targets to meet. As of now, for example, if we have to pack milk in a pouch, we don't have an alternative, not at all. Packing fruit juice in a pouch or packing dahi in a plastic bag or oil in a plastic bag, the alternatives have to be created by us. So while we say, we honor all our judiciary system, but then one judicial system says that ban it today, right? It may be a good order, but does it work on the ground? Will the consumer get the product if it is banned, right? Yes, we can be selective. Like we said, single-use plastic, then we can say plastic of certain thickness, then we can say plastic of certain use. Like that, we can say stepwise, phase-wise, we can, delete the use of plastics. But all said and done, finally, we have to come to research on developing an alternative biodegradable or other kinds of plastics which are not threatening to the environment. Okay. Now we come to the fourth part. The fourth part is that are we sufficiently engaged in making good quality packaging machinery? The type of packaging machinery, the quality, the volumes it can handle, the finishing it can give is equally important. It is observed in the field, in the industry, that India has to move further for manufacturing good quality packaging machinery also. Now you see, if I recall, like food processing and packaging is an integrated thing. You make tomato paste and then the next step is that there is a packaging, line which fills it up also or which packages it in sachets or pouches. Okay. Now we've been importing such equipment for the last almost 40 years. Our engineering in the country has developed. We can make the best of automobile or the best of railways or aviation. We are good at aerospace or different specialized engineerings, satellites. So again, it means that focus has not been as strong as required. We have to have a very determined and planned activity to say that yes, we will develop the best of packaging machinery, and we don't have to import, whether it is a can body former, or it is an injection molding machine for a plastic jar, or it is a form fill seal machine, or it is a printing. Even now, the best of printing machines we are importing, whether they are Heidelberg or so many other names. Now, this is one field of engineering, machinery, and packaging materials where I will say that India needs to take a very determined stand. And just like our Honorable Prime Minister said, Atmanirbhar means self-reliant. We have to be self-reliant in this field. I recall that 40 years back, I visited Taiwan. And the moment they came to know from my visa, details, that I come from food processing industry, they had some system of circulating that information to their chambers or association, and they started coming to the hotel. Sir, can we give you OTS cans? Can we give you cartons? Can we give you such and such packaging material? Now, a small country, which is not bigger than one of our states, right? They could do that 40 years back. We are a large country. We have the best technical in the world. We have the best of research institutions, whether they are in the government space or in the academic space or industrial platform. So a senior level decision in the government has to be taken, and I will like to close my remarks here and request Mr. Minhaj Alam, our very senior government official and bureaucrat, and also Dr. Saha, because he also has worked very actively all his life to guide the packaging policy, and now he is helping and mentoring BIS. So I think some kind of a team has to be made, and that should be made first because it is food packaging in the Ministry of Food Processing Industry. A team of officials, scientists, of experts like Dr. Saha, and some people from the industry. And let us do a brainstorming. We take 2 months to do that, and then say that yes, these are the steps to be adopted, and this is what we would like the government to do. Thank you, friends, very much. I once again thank ICC, Mr. Aditya Bagdi, and Saha, Minhaj Sahab, and all the learned participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Zindal Sahab. I think within a short moment, within a 10, I think he has taken about 12 minutes time. He tried to encapsulate the entire packaging industry. But more importantly, what I like, he has tried to highlight about the scarcity of the raw material in the country, the packaging material, which are directly involved to the food processing industry, especially the tin plate shortage, talking about our pulp industry, I mean the paper and pulp, which we are really looking for long fiber pulp. And also he spoke very well in the plastics, just the banning of the plastics, and that's not a solution. We have to wait and watch that what could be the alternative material is available, and which can go to the food industry. Today, if you look at about the packaging consumption, more than 55% food material are packed in the plastic material, rather not 65% of consumption of packaging material is only for the food product, and that's the plastics. So I really thank to Dr. Zindal for giving and highlighting the few of the important things. The last point, he said that there is a need for a policy making to make an expertise committee where we have to take the government, we have to take the industry, take the expertise. I think that's called some kind of consortium, or exactly the Singapore model. And that's the way we can really make a breakthrough for the growth of our food processing packaging industry. Thank you so much. Thank you once again to Dr. Zindal for his nice address. I'll move on to the next speaker, who is Mr. P.L. Kaul, the chairman and the managing director of the Marientel India Private Limited. And he is also for a long time in this food processing industry. May I request Mr. Kaul to address for 5 to 7 minutes. Over to Mr. Kaul.
Thank you so much. I have just joined the webinar. I was not able to connect before that.
Yes.
I was also involved in a discussion of the Department of Science and Technology on food processing technologies and all that. But immediately after that, I could not connect it immediately. But nevertheless, I am here with you.
Yeah.
I heard Dr. Jindal's lecture. Of course, it is very pragmatic, practical approach to packaging industry in India. But you know that we have to look forward, past and present. Now we have to carry ourselves along with the wave. We cannot remain obsolete in technology. So I will go a little further. I am involved in, I am consultant to Flex Group, and UFlex, is one of the largest supplier of flexi packaging material to the world today.
Yeah.
But plastics, that as Dr. Jindal has told, and everybody knows that it is going to be phased out in a period of couple of years now. But nevertheless, we cannot do without plastics. I agree with Dr. Jindal that for last 40 years we have not been able to increase the capacity of good quality cans. When we are the largest producer of aluminium at the moment, we can shift to aluminium cans as such, rather than lacquered cans and all that. But every packaging material has its own base. Now let me go a little further. You never know the government policies. All of a sudden they came with the policy that first time plastic is banned. All gutka and pan masala and all those patches and sachets is going to be banned. Similarly, we have to think ahead. According to me, now what world is thinking today, number one, is microfibrillated cellulose fiber, which you can produce from waste, like cotton waste, cotton stems and all that. You develop medium density fiber board, which is very strong, which is not affected by any pests or affected any termite or whatever. So they have, in foreign countries, they have reduced the packaging material and plastic material, very thin material, they wrap it around and then they put the entire thing in this board made of MDFD, right? And it is very sturdy. You can transport it by whatever means. It is absolutely safe, and so forth. So we have a lot of agriculture waste in this country, and we can convert this agriculture waste into medium density fiber board and save cutting off the wood and cutting off the jungle. This is number one. Number two, this is high time that we focus on operational excellence, visibility, operation performance, connect and control operations, and reduce wastages. This is the need of the hour. I remember almost 25 years back or more, I have set up a plant in Himachal for apple packaging, cardboard. And at that time it was state of art, the technology. You have to only feed the computer with the weight of the apple, size of the apple, and it automatically designs how many ply carton you will need, what kind of carton, and adjust the machinery, and you produce that kind of carton. Three variables: size of the apple, weight of the apple, how much weight of the carton, and for how much distance you have to transport it by truck. Then the computer gives you the design and it produces the carton. So that kind of machinery was to be set up in J&K also. The government gave the grant, but they wasted the money. They gave it to salaries and forgot about it. Such plants should have come up in the country, not one, but many. It would have saved a lot of, wood in the country. But nevertheless, We are laggards, and that is what we are suffering today from. Next is we have to look for smart packaging to cut down food wastage, to prevent product privacy, to take care of product privacy, potential health risks, prevent counterfeit, and it has to be backed by radio frequency identification, means RFID codes. So that is what the world is now looking today. And we are still thinking of how can we produce cans, how can we do this, how can we produce cotton. We have to think ahead, otherwise we will lag behind very badly. Next important thing, which is now going to revolutionize the packaging industry, is 3D printing. 3D printing means it has too much of flexibility. You have a small pack, you have bigger pack, you have further bigger pack. You need not standardize. You put the 3D printing machinery and it automatically wrap your product with the kind of packaging which is very solid, which can take any mishandling, and it saves a lot of packaging material. We have to study and understand the nature. That is very important. Nature. Think of biological or bio-based packaging material. It can start from the skin of the human body. Millions of chemical processes, biochemical processes, biotech processes, microbiology takes place inside the body, but skin keeps it intact, and there is no effect of outside environment on the inside chemical industry. You look at the fruits like coconut. You can keep coconut water for years together, but as soon as you break the packaging, within 2 hours it will sour. It turns waste. So we have to understand nature, how nature packs the product, and that is the basis of the research which is being carried out in foreign countries today. How can we develop such kind of materials? Edible packaging, wiki shells. It is also taking shape. Now you have an edible material which packs the food product, and you can eat it also, like cones, ice cream cones, and all that. That kind of packaging material needs to be developed through R&D. Microfilms, nanotechnology, water-based polymers. So this is the field of tomorrow. Nanotechnology is going to be the cutting-edge technology. It uses, in some countries they have tried it, like Bayer has introduced Durathan using clay monoparticles, which are perfect oxygen barrier. You use 70% of clay with water and soluble polymer. Simple water, soluble polymer like polylactates, and 70% clay. And you make a packaging material which provides you complete oxygen barrier properties. And it has already been introduced in the market by Bayer under the name Durathan. Another packaging material, Nunocore, prevents escape of oxygen from beer bottles. It is antimicrobial packaging as well. Now next is self-cooling and self-heating packs. They are still under R&D, but one company, Joseph Company International, has already launched ChillCan, which is a micro-cool technology. They call it. It absorbs carbon dioxide from atmosphere, which is released as you press the button, and it reduces the temperature to -1 degree centigrade. And it is already tried, and it has to be commercialized. Some companies have already introduced it. Heat Jenny and Crown Holdings is a company who have introduced self-heating cans called Heat Jenny, which can heat up to 145 degree Fahrenheit, 763 degrees. So we have to think ahead. Stop cutting wood, stop denuding the jungles. Cardboard packaging, biodegradable polymers based on starch, like polylactates. I was involved with a company in Sweden. They produce polylactate from starch, and polylactate is the material which gives you biodegradable packaging. So what Dr. Jindal has said, it is the present approach which has to go to the industry. But what I am saying is that simultaneously we have to think ahead. packaging machinery is also of vital importance even today. Whenever we think of, high capacity packaging machine, we think of Ishida wares or Yamato machines. Why can't we, produce these machines here? We are such an advanced country in electronics. As Dr. Jindal said, we have already gone, we have taken first lead to go to Mangalyaan. In the very first attempt, we made a success. So electronics is very well developed. Why can't we produce these machines here in our country? Any machine all over the country, wherever we have used a high capacity packaging machine, it has an Ishida ware or a Yamato ware. Chinese have already developed these wares. So Heidelberg machines. And even also, whichever project I take up, I use these machines. But packaging machines, small machines, now there is mushroom growth, so we have to go to high tech. But going to high tech, who will finance it? It needs a concrete government policy that if somebody wants to develop, how to, finance them. Like you have in the US, you have in every developed country, some technocrat goes with an idea and he is financed totally. They don't bother whether he has been able to produce results in 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. They wait. After 3 years, they come out with the machine. So these are some of the thought processes. I know you are, shortage of time you have. You have already started ringing the bell. So I stop here. We have to think ahead. And I am there to cooperate with whosoever, whichever the company is, if they want to go to the second generation or third generation of packaging machines. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kaul. I think it was an excellent eye-opening for all of us. He has really taken us a journey about what's happening and what is the last few years and what has been across the world about the various technological development. Yeah, a few of the things he has highlighted and which are really, I know that it's coming, maybe the next generation technology like the 3D printing, which will be coming, very flexible design of the secondary packaging. He talks about a microfilm and water soluble packaging. Edible packaging, of course, it is all the time there, but there are certain limitations. We have the polylactic acid based, the nano packaging technology is there, but there are whole thing. If you look at back, the zero down is the research, and I think what Dr. Zindal was talking and I was talking on my opening remarks, we need to really strengthen our research and development, and that's the key area. Without R&D, we cannot really focus on either is an automation or we talk about the new alternative packaging material, new raw material. You can't do anything without having a research and development, and that's need a consortium which can be really worked into that. Thank you so much, Mr. Kaul. I think within a very short time, you have really making a nice address to us. I'll just move on. Our next speaker is Mr. Navdeep Mehram. He's the Director of Public Affairs for South Asia Market of Tetra Pak. Navdeep has been in this sector of the sustainability sector for almost 20 years. He worked with the United Nations in a various CSR responsibility. He has worked into that, and at present he looks after the public affairs. It is related to the sustainability for the government of India. He is from the Tetra Pak Asia side. Over to Mr. Navdeep.
Thank you, Dr. Saha. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Thank you. First of all, thanks, Dr. Saha and ICC for giving me this opportunity. I think last panelists, they actually have covered most of the important aspects which the packaging industry and the food processing industry needs to focus on. Thanks, Dr. Saha, for perfectly timing my session at this point, because Kaul sir and Jindal sir has actually brought out all the important aspects which I will be able to kind of contribute. And I just want to begin by saying that Tetra Pak is the solution, what we are trying to figure out as the future of packaging. From last 60 years, Tetra Pak has been constantly supporting food businesses with our pioneering and innovation technology of aseptic and aseptic processing as well as aseptic packaging. So in this next 9 minutes, I will be covering three different aspects of how Tetra Pak is relevant technology last 60 years, and how it will be relevant for maybe another 100 years, and what are we doing on that. Without further ado, I just begin with, as I said, our founder, he had this vision that a package should save more than it costs. And I think that's a very simple a vision statement by our founder, that a package should be able to serve the most important purpose. What spoils the food beverages, we should actually be able to manage and ensure that we protect the food. And that's what Tetra Pak's promise is: protect what's good. And to do that, our we I don't have to oversell Tetra Pak. All of you are eminent people, but just to highlight what is the aseptic process and then aseptic packaging. And as the eminent speakers already said, it's a continuous process. And within this process, one important factor is the ultra heat technology, which ensures that the content is sterile. And this there are two methods: direct and indirect. I'll not go in detail, but indirect is where we can save energy. Direct, there is more energy required. What happens is that the food is sterile, and through continuous process in the multi-layer packaging, the sterile food goes into a sterile package, and it remains sterile. While there is no refrigeration required, no additional preservatives required, it extends the shelf life of the content. Moving on to next. So while I said that's the technology opens up so many benefits. Product is safe, product integrity, and I'll give some examples little later on that. It is free from bacteria and contaminants. It is temper evident, and I think this temper evident and product integrity are two related benefits of our packaging material. Uh, Obviously, it is convenient storage, no refrigeration required, no cold chain. A best solution for on the go to drink beverages. It is more than 70% paper based, so it's a renewable material and a recyclable package. Coming back to the temper evident and product integrity, just to give a message that from last almost a decade, the spirits industry also opened up to pack in the Tetra Pak because of illicit alcohol and other harms which the illicit does to the consumers. So this property is very important, and also protect the brand and reputation of our customers, because there are challenges in the market in terms of illicit products, etc. Uh, like everyone is aware about what Tetra Pak packages are used for, but I think just to give the length and the breadth of different kind of product categories which are being packed in the Tetra Pak. So juices and nectar, white milk, dairy alternatives, still drinks, other liquids, and now we are into ORS as well as coconut juice also. I like the challenge which Mr. Call has put forth. Study how nature protects the coconut. We are just trying to extend that shelf life of the coconut juice by using Tetra Pak aseptic process as well as packaging. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. While that's the length and breadth of our packaging categories, I think it's very important to mention here that our packages support food access in the remote locations. More than 5 crore liters of milk is being served to the Indian Army in the areas such as Siachen Glacier or Northeast, etc. Northeast, for the general consumers also, there is supply available of milk because that's a milk shortage area. Interestingly, in Andhra Pradesh, there is a small village of fishermen who cannot have storage or refrigeration, and our beverages are actually helping them to meet their nutrient requirements. In addition to that, I just want to highlight a very quick example of Chhattisgarh, Bastar area, which is a remote area, disturbed area in the district of Dantewada, where the tribals basically believes that the milking the cow is not allowed, because the belief is that milk is for the calves and nobody should exploit that. Having said that, in that area, it's a mineral rich area, a lot of iron ore, a lot of mining company, private company are there. Those engineers, those miners, they need milk. And that's an area where our Tetra Pak packaging is being able to support even in the remote locations of Bastar. Moving on, I will touch upon the key opportunities which I wanted to highlight. But before I highlight those opportunities, I think it is important to mention here that uh, we would definitely be interested in this policy think tank which is being proposed by Dr. Jindal and Kolsar. We would like to be part of that policy think tank, uh, basically because we can help look at what are the future innovations Tetra Pak is doing globally, and that can be part of this discussion. Coming back to this slide, uh, one of the very interesting and big program globally we have is school milk program, which support different age groups through the school milk program. Recently, Amul has signed a contract with Andhra government, and the school which are at the moment shut down, but they will get access through Anganwadi through the Tetra Pak. They will start getting their midday meal through them. This is going to be another opportunity for the government, and we'll be happy to partner on this with the other governments also. Because our technology supports ambient, it doesn't require refrigeration storage. So Anganwadis are going to be benefited through this, and ultimately the children will be benefited. The second opportunity I wanted to highlight was that our Tetra Recard technology is now available, and we will be launching in India very soon, which can basically support the cut fruit and food market. And like I was hearing through Dr. Jindal, since there is a shortfall of tin, and I just wanted to highlight here is an alternative solution available through Tetra Pak. In addition to that, recently, thanks to FSSAI and BIS, they are working on it. FSSAI has allowed other kind of food grade packages to pack water, and they are removing the restriction of transparency. So once the process is completed, I think the next big opportunity which is coming is the packaged drinking water, and we are working very closely with FSSAI and BIS on that. And last, I just wanted to say here is that uh, while while we are already at a 75% in on our sustainability agenda, we have that renewable material. Our go, our goal is that we should go 100%. And to do that, obviously we'll look at these three different materials which constitute our package. How can we increase the paperboard content? How can we look at bio-based polymers, Kaul just mentioned? And how can we look at barriers which are bio-based barriers? So these three are our future innovations on which our teams are working. And we just want to again reiterate that we are a future looking and future ready package. Like we spoke about the smart packaging, we already have developed technology of the dynamic QR code for full traceability. We have given the proposal to different governments also that our packages can be used for dynamic QR code track and trace. Uh, we have given proposal even to government of UP, which is working on a dynamic QR code traceability for alcohol sector to the excise department. And we have given these solutions to our brand owners. and now we wait for some direction from brand as well as a policy from the government. With this, I end here, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much, Saha sir.
Thank you, Mr. Navdeep. It's nice to see that what are the futuristic R&D you have been planning. It's good that you are thinking that to make this carton as a purely on the paper based, which is a very tough job. I know that. Today you have around 60% of your paper board and then plastics and your foil. But the most interesting part, what Dr. Zindal and others should know, that the paper also, what the quality of paper they have, they need to import the pulp. That becomes the most ironical part for us. And I go back what the Dr. Zindal say, unless until we can make our own pulp and old foil. Of course, foil we have and we get a plastic is not a problem for country. So
Right.
here one part is that for the paper pulp, the right quality pulp, what you need for making the aseptic carton or aseptic laminate, there are people already making, but this we need to be really ensure that we are not importing any kind of raw material for making the carton. Then it becomes a very successful story. Otherwise, it's a big challenge for us. And going to from 75 to 100, it's based on a paper and a biomass polymer. Yes, it's a food for thought, but that may take time. But I am really appreciate the Tetra Pak thought process, what they're planning. And I'm sure if you can make it, that will be a fantastic alternative packaging material. Thank you so much, Navdeep, for your nice presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 3 more speakers, and I have got exactly 30 minutes. So everyone, I'll request just to make 8 to 9 minutes time. But very interestingly, these 3 speakers are coming from 3 different institutes. They're all the national institute who are working in the food processing and packaging. I have a speaker, my colleague, Mr. Bidhan Das, from Indian Institute of Packaging of Kolkata. Indian Institute of Packaging, where I spent my almost 32 years of my career. And Bidhan, after Bidhan, there is a assistant professor, Dr. S. Ananda Kumar. He is coming from Indian Institute of Food Processing Technology. And Dr. Rajesh Mache from CFTRI, my alma mater, where I also studied. So all these 3 institutes, which are the national institute working on the food processing and packaging. The first presentation will be done, Mr. Bidhan Das. To speak about Bidhan, whom I know for the last almost 12 years, he worked with me, but his overall experience is almost 20 years. And he is a science graduate, and he has done his master's, and he has an industry experience almost 10 years. And now with the institute is also, I think after 6 years institute, he's working for the 12 years. Over to Mr. Bidhan. He has to give the highlight about the food processing, or rather he has to say the food packaging. What are the innovative work has been done by IIP? Over to Bidhan.
Thank you, sir. Nice introduction. Thank Indian Chamber of Commerce for giving me the opportunity to talk in this forum. Very good afternoon to all of you. I will presenting on the activities of IIT, what we have done first for the packaging of food and the processing food industry. So this is the institute which I represent, English Packaging Research Center. Basically, sir, all of you might be knowing that IIP government body and Ministry of Commerce and Industry Government of India was established in 1966 in Maharashtra and Mumbai. They have different branches at the cities, Kolkata, Chennai, Delhi, Hyderabad, and 3 new branches going to come up in Guwahati, Kakinada, and one more in Bangalore. Basically, activities of IIP, basically we are doing testing and evaluation of packaging and packages in the field of food, training and education in the field of packaging, and technical consultancy. In the recent consultancy, we have done innovative design of plastic products of West Bengal, the Nolen Good packaging. It was given to the Department of Khadi and Village Industries Board, Government of West Bengal. This is Nolen Good, which was basically normally in Bengal, it is being packed in the earthen pot or in the plastic container like PET jar, only available in the winter. This R&D with the product and the different types of packaging, and we found that this Nolen Good is packed in the kilo, which is developed conducted by ASL Propack in consultation with the IIB. We have studied here the shelf life of good is basically here you can keep the good without a preservative for almost 1 year, though the government is writing only 6 months shelf life, because after 6 months again the new lot of good is coming. Intentionally it is not written 1 year, but we have studied the shelf life can be up to 365 days. So these are the two different colors. Basically, one is sold for the Vishamanga, another is sold for the other market. So these two packages was designed by Mr. Packaging. I think till the SAT annual was the director. Under his guidance, we worked and we have designed this knowledge packaging for the government of West Bengal. And very recently, we have submitted the project of packaging of tea, the R&D project on shelf life evaluation of tea. Basically, it was also a project started in 2013. And then we have interacted all the different tea auction centers with the tea exporters and tea producers. It was found that no guideline is there. They don't have any data that how long the shelf life of tea is available with the present packaging material which they have been using in the packaging of tea. So we have done two projects. One is for the shelf life of the bulk packaging of tea. Another is the for shelf life of the consumer packaging of tea. We have interacted with the different tea producers. In India, there are 5 zones like Guwahati, Siliguri, Coimbatore, Cochin, and I think one more is in the south. There are 5 zones where the tea auction centers are there. We visited all the 5 zones and interacted with the tea growers and also the exporters and the people who are dealing with the tea, and we collected from them, and then we have taken this project and we evaluated the shelf life. Basically, in the industry, what we observed that the people was not having a guideline that when the tea is being produced and it is packed, the different types of packaging material it is stored in the auction center or in the warehouses, then the order came and the tea is then exported. So, what is the time duration till which the tea will be good in the packages? So, this was a big issue, and we discussed with the tea board and all the producers, and then finally the R&D project came to us, and we have evaluated. I have been evaluated the shelf life of the existing packaging materials, and it was found that the 4 packaging materials basically which are normally being used have been giving the maximum shelf life. There are almost 12 different types of packaging which are being used in the tea industry. So out of that, we found that the 4 different packaging material, like the sandwich bag with the EVOH barrier liner, that is a 5-layer liner, which is composed of the LDP, EVOH, LDP, and then basically there are 2 tile layer, LLDP or LDP, tile layer, EVOH tile layer, and then LDP, LLDP. So these the 5-layer liner is giving a shelf life of 350 days, almost 1 year. And one more PP woven sack with the same liner also, LDP, that EVOH liner is giving 350 days shelf life. Then another one is the multiple paper sack, which is basically the craft paper, accessible craft paper, which is used for manufacturing the paper sack. And there is a aluminium foil liner, and also sometimes there is a what is called that metallized polyester liner also available. These 2 liners are giving a shelf life of almost 350 days. This is basically we have done in the accelerated condition, that is 40 degrees in temperature and 90% relative humidity, where the shelf life is 105 days, and which is multiplied by 3 to get the shelf life in the normal ambient conditions. So this is showing the shelf life. At the same time, we have also done for the consumer packaging. There are different types of consumer packaging. There are 2-layer structure, only normal polyethylene, there are metal containers, there are plastic jars, there are lined curtain. All these different packaging combinations we taken from the different tea producers, the packaging manufacturers, and then the shelf life was evaluated under the R&D project in IIT Mumbai, and we found that there are 4 different structures of the consumer pack which can give the shelf life of almost 1 year for the consumer packaging of tea. One is the lined curtain with the aluminium foil. It is basically a paper aluminium foil, and then top there is a duplex board. So these mono curtains with the lined curtain can give a shelf life of 360 days or 365 days. Paid jar with the induction seal closure also can give 365 days shelf life. And then flexible pouches, there are 2 different structures. One is the polyester poly structure, and is the polyester metallized polyester polyethylene. So the 3-layer structure is giving almost 350 days, but the 2-layer structure is giving only 270 days. And here also you can see that flexible pouches with 2-layer structure is giving 180 days. So these are the different structures which are being evaluated, and we have found the shelf life. Very recently, the consumer pack project was submitted to the tea board, and we had a decision of the project project in the Guwahati we have done on 8th of March, and in Kolkata with the manufacturer of Siliguri, we have disseminated this project on 8th of June last month. Basically, if you see the different packaging industry, there are three types of industry who are involved in the packaging. One is called as a packaging raw material, packaging machine manufacturer, packaging material converter, and packaging user industry. So these are the combination of the industries which fall under the packaging industries. Out of that, if you see the different packaging materials are used, there are two types of materials used in the packaging. One is the scientific and the traditional packaging. After this COVID-19, say now most and most scientific packaging will be demanded by the consumer because we need the hygiene condition of the product. So sometimes we have seen that the people who are buying the products from the market, even after buying the product from the market, they are washing this, bringing the home. So if we get the packages made up of traditional packaging material, so if we wash that, then the water will go inside and then the product will get spoiled. So more and more scientific packaging will be demanded after the post-COVID, which is being assumed that all the packaging materials which are to be used would be water resistant also, because the people are washing this, so it should not, water should not seep inside. If you see the scientific packaging materials, mostly there are, I think, results have already told that the four packaging materials which are being used: paper, glass, metal, and plastic. So mostly now, if you see the metal, there are two types of metal: steel plate and aluminum is used. But if you see the metal packaging, it can give a better shelf life and longevity. The keeping quality of the product will be good, definitely, but cost-wise, the thing will be slightly on the higher side. Then the plastics, a lot of plastics are used in packaging nowadays. So mostly thermoplastics are used, though the government was telling that maybe that multi-layer plastics will be phased out slowly, but we have a new structure or new material developed. By that time, we have to use that. But people nowadays, more and more consumer packaging companies doing a lot of R&D, and they are going for the structures with a similar material, like polyethylene with polyethylene. That polyethylene may be of different 7-layer or 9-layer polyethylene may be manufactured by the different modern extrusion machines. That is LDP, tri-layer, nylon, LDP, tri-layer, then again EVOH, then tri-layer, then polyethylene. So different layers of polymers can be made for making the structure, and which can replace the multi-layer, like polyester aluminum polyethylene structure can be replaced by a 7-layer or 9-layer of polyethylene structure, and this 9-layer structure can be easily recyclable, which will reduce the current issue of or environmental issues. There are different structures which are being normally used. I just go through this because of this time shortage. Now, this is a common structure which is normally used for our daily needs, that is polyester poly. But now a lot of companies are doing the R&D on that how they can replace this polyester poly structure with the poly structure. The outer layer will be polyethylene with the different combinations which can be easily printed by the flexible printing machine, maybe 20 or 30 micron of polyethylene. Then again inside there will be another polyethylene which will be laminated, maybe of 30 micron or 40 micron. So this poly structure can be easily recycled, which will not have any problem of recyclability and keep the environmental safe. These are all multi-layer structures which are basically different material like polyester, aluminum for polyethylene, or polyester, metallized polyester polyethylene, which are basically difficult for recycling. This is basically the chips packet which we use are of the modified atmospheric packaging. I told initially that different technology of packaging, like maybe modified packaging. So for this, we need the packaging materials to have a good barrier. So whatever the combination of gases have been used, so the gas should not come out, or even the outside gas should not go inside. So we need to have a barrier property. So basically, in case of our barrier property, there are two parameters we check for the laminates or the packaging material. One is the moisture vapor transmission rate, that is the moisture in the what is called in the form of vapor, which permeates to the material. That is the amount of moisture going from the atmosphere to the inside the packaging material. That is measured basically in a sophisticated instrument by Mopon or Tech different instruments, which is very costly. One instrument is costing maybe 60-70 lakh. So we have the instruments in our laboratory. We check the permeability, that is water vapor transmission rate. How much of water in the form of vapor is going inside the packaging, measured in gram per meters per day. And also one parameter which is again for the fried items, the oily products will have this effect, that is the oxygen transmission rate, OTR, which is measured in cc per meters per day. So these two parameters, WBTR and OTR, basically which is greatly affect the shelf life, the keeping quality of the product. So for any packaging design, whenever you are doing, we have to check this permeability of the gases and also to the oxygen or moisture to keep the shelf life. This is some again design of pouches which is called inside considered pouches, which basically can stand on the shelf by the structure. There are some standing pouches which is called as a stand-up pouches. There is a gusset at the bottom which helps them to stand. So normally it has been seen that the products which can be stand on the shelf has a better sales appeal than the product which are hanging. So people for the better marketing and the better sales appeal, sometimes people are using these type of pouches which are called as stand-up pouches, which has a gusset at the bottom. By this gusset they can stand. Nowadays the hand wash pouches, even a lot of snacks are coming in this type of bottom gusseted pouch, which is called as stand-up pouches. Even stand-up pouches can also have the prefer food, that is having a spout with a ROPP closure, which will give evidence that if the customer, before somebody opened earlier, so it will give evidence that this thing will be broken. A stand-up pouch with a gusseted, and even this type of pouches is also told initially that the micro. Winner also mentioned that now there will be demand of micro level pouches. So this is the structure without any aluminum barrier, aluminum foil. This type of structures also will be available. This is the polypropylene CPP structure. Basically, the 20 micron BBP laminated with again 40 or 50 micron of CPP plus polypropylene, which we have facility of micro available heating capacity. So this type of pouch is also available. So this is basically UBP, CPP, or maybe polyester CPP laminate. Even if you see some of the ready to eat market, that is the retort pouches. Retort pouches normally there is a structure. I go to this because of the shortage of time. As I told that nowadays only poly structures are people are preferring. So there will be no other material, only polyethylene, that 7 layer or 5 layer or 9 layer. So we have a company in Ahmedabad that is called Vishaka Polyfab. They are manufacturing 9 layer polyethylene, and in Kolkata also their new plant is coming in the Dankuni area, Vishaka Polyfab, to start up with this 9 layer polyethylene structure, which may replace this 8 poly structure. So it will be easy for recycling, and the environmental issue will be resolved. So these type of structures are also available, which can be easily recycled, and it will be basically printed by high-speed flexible printing machine nicely with attractive designs and color. Here are the barrier polymers are different, like PVDC, EVA, and all these. EVOH will be the barrier layer, which will basically replace the use of aluminum foil or even the metallized polyester. These are all different structures of that multi-layer used in the processed food industry or in the meat packaging industry. All are different structures given in the thickness also. So all these 5 layers will be having a different thickness of.
Then you have to wrap up, Bidan.
I told you this tetra packaging. What is called the retort packaging? Retort packaging is a structure which is universally used for the ready-to-eat food market. Already food are packed inside these pouches, then they are closed and they are again heated up for killing all the bacteria or microorganisms, and these that does require the cold chain. These can be kept on the shelf in the ambient temperature. So this is the structure. Globally, people are using this structure is called retort pouches, which is basically lower cost than the metal or than any other material for the ready-to-eat food market. Now there are a lot of companies that are coming, like LTR is a renowned company, and ITC testified. They have a lot of products which are already cooked food packed into the pouches. So this is the structure normally people are using: polyester, aluminum foil, nylon, and CPP. So these are all 12 micron, 9 micron, and nylon 20 micron, and CPP 60 to 100 micron, depending upon the product inside the packaging. So I think, sir, with this I close here, because the retort packaging is also the thermal process is given, and shelf life is basically 12 to 18 months without any cold chain. So this is a food solution for the ready food market. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bidan. Bidan, within about 12 minutes to 15 minutes, he has covered over the various material science and material knowledge. Of course, Indian Institute of Packaging is one of the best institute in the country who has got the best testing facility for the evaluation of various types of packaging material. And Bidan has spent more than 20 years in this field, and he has got overall knowledge. But most importantly, a few of the projects which has been Indian Institute of Packaging has done, one of the tea packaging and the null and good, because I was personally involved, and that was the first patent what we did from IIP along with the Khadi Gram Udyog and all. And the more interestingly, the tube, which was never thought, everybody think that it is a toothpaste tube, but that tube could be used for a food product just to make a value addition, and that's really the Bisho Bangla is selling. which is your null and good, which is available at 150 rupees per liter. And after putting into the tube, they sell it 100 ml of 70 rupees. So it becomes almost 700 rupees per liter. And that's the value addition. What can be done by the packaging? Really, if you have a value addition for the food processing, you can do it. So thank you, Vidhan, for your nice presentation on the material science and what are the various packaging format and what are the various R&D and the successful story of the Indian Institute of Packaging. Thank you, Vidhan. Thank you once again. Now I'll move on to the next speaker. He is from another institute who deals with the food processing technology, Dr. S. Ananda Kumar. He's the assistant professor and head of food packaging and systems development. This is called the Indian Institute of Food Processing Technology. This is under the Ministry of Food Processing Technology, Government of India. And I'm sure Dr. Kumar is going to talk about what are the new innovation is done by their institute for the food industry. Over to Dr. Anand Kumar.
Sir, thank you very much, sir. Sir, can I share my slide, sir? That option is share content.
Yeah. This, I think, Sagnik has to help.
Yes, sir. You can share, sir.
Yes, sir. Is it visible, sir?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Yeah. Carry on.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Chairman, Sir, CSI, and Co-Chairman, sir, and our moderator, Saga, sir, and the senior faculty, Jindal, sir, Kaul, sir, Maram, sir, Vidhan, sir, and our professor, Rajesh Mache, sir. Good evening, one and all. And myself, Anand Kumar, faculty from Indian Institute of Food Packaging Technology. At present, just I want to present what all the research work we are conducting at present at IAPT, and what all the technology we have transferred to the entrepreneurs as well as the manufacturers. So another 5 to 10 minutes we will cover this. So this is the one of the project at present we are working on it. It is funded by our Ministry of Food Processing Industry. So this is the thing, development of active intelligent packaging system for fresh commodity. Because at present we are facing larger post-harvest losses in 3 commodity. One is tomato, potato, and onion. And these projects we have taken with the different objectives. One is development of this active packaging system for this tomato. And what is the tomato you are seeing here is a organic tomato. And in Tamil Nadu, this organic tomato cost is per kg 200 rupees. So in such a case, we are developing packaging solutions, and this commodity particularly they are exporting to Sri Lanka and other foreign countries, and the losses they want to minimize it during the transport. And this active packaging systems, it has the partition or provisions to keep all the scavengers in it, and that will make that modified atmosphere inside that packaging unit. And also here you can see we have that IoT system. Here the sensor will be there, and it will be connected with the Arduino board and gas sensors, and that will be connected with your mobile phone. And whenever that gas changes are getting increase inside that packaging material, and that will give you the alarm to the supplier, so that immediately they can take necessary action on it. And with this absorber, we have conducted the studies, and we are extended the shelf life of the tomatoes in this method in the cold storage conditions for 30 days. Another thing is for the potato, we are working on development of the indicator, freshness indicator, by using this bromothiamyl blue, and along with the other binding material, we have developed the indicator in our lab. And these things which will be converted in the tablet form, and which will be placed on the cut vegetables, and these things will correlate the freshness of the commodity along with the bacterial count as well as the texture of the potatoes. So in such a case, we are extending the shelf life of this fresh cut vegetables. As you know, once the fruits and vegetables, when we do minimally processed, the life of the product will be very less. So in such a case, that is supporting us to judge the quality, even it will support the consumers. And another thing, from IAPT has developed with the support of Tamil Nadu government and farmer producer company, a complete mechanization for the onion processing plant. So when you give the onion, it will automatically sort it out or grade it. It will be done. Then the peeling will be taking place. And after peeling it, by using this vacuum packaging method, so 10 kg of onion will be vacuum packed 5 to 10 kg. And this small onion, which will be called that sambar onion, they are exporting to foreign countries, Singapore, Malaysia, and as well as the huge market in the Chennai. So IIPT is technically supporting with that exporter for giving the packaging solutions. And another thing in the potato, we are facing that sprouting and making this type of active packaging method with the coatings. And we are now conducting stopping the sprouting in the potatoes during the storage period. And considering the machines, IIPT has we developed one blister packaging machine, particularly for the Italy and as well as that coconut, because these fruits and vegetables, we are talking about the coconut. So this coconut normally in the house, they will use half of the portion after breakage, and remaining half they will keep it in the fridge. So after 1 week or 10 days, it will not be useful. So we identified this technology, that blister packaging method. So after some of the treatments with this coconut, when you keep this commodity in the refrigerator, the shelf life of that coconut will be 21 days. And whenever you want to prepare any food items, you can take like a tablet, 2-3 pieces, and you can prepare it. Otherwise, you can, when you feel hungry, you can take 1 or 2 pieces. So that is this machine. It has been developed by IIPT with all design parameters, and this machine, which will produce per hour 3,000 to 4,500 cubes, the coconut cubes. So it can be placed and it can be stored in the refrigerator. And another project now, it's currently working on development of biodegradable packaging material. So here with the local company Lakshmi Plastic Industries, along with them, we are in a collaborative, we are developing this biodegradable packaging material. And we developed, considering the barrier properties of conventional packaging material, and we developed this biodegradable packaging material with the different thicknesses. And we optimized for storage of that potato chips, and using this biodegradable material, and it is also giving a good results. We can also extend this potato chips in a packet in the 21 days in the without nitrogen packaging. Now we are improving that gas barrier properties of these things, and we want to support these bioplastic industries and doing more research on it. So another thing is here, the problem, the cost of the raw material is one of the issues, because when we say this biodegradable packaging material, so we are searching either what can be possible to reduce the cost of this material, so that which will support the society also. And another thing, we have developed one of the edible cutlery and as well as that bio plates. One is from the coconut powder. So you in a Gaja cyclone, almost 90 lakhs coconut trees were uprooted in Tanjavur region, Tamil Nadu particularly. So that time we thought of doing some of the research on this. And by taking this coconut wood, we converted in this type of the plates with the coating material. And these plates, it can be used in the retail shops, either in the ice cream shops or fruit salad selling shops. So it will not absorb the moisture, and it has very good that hardness and as well as the strength. And it will be another source. We are taking this project for the industrial commercialization. So any type of wood materials we can convert in this type of by hot pressing method. We can make this type of cups and trays. And another one project we did in the jackfruit. After taking the fruit, the rind portion will be wasted, and we have taken that strings from the rind and we converted into flour. From the flour, we have made this fiber-rich plates, and it has 12% fiber and 6% protein. And in the local Tanjavur, in the ice cream shops, we are giving this technology, and after consuming the ice cream, they can eat this jackfruit cups. And this is also supporting many entrepreneurs in the Kerala, and this technology also we have given for many entrepreneurs. And another one, the rice bran wax. For example, if you take 100 kg of the paddy, we are getting 5 kg of rice bran. And from the rice bran, we are getting, after extracting the oil, this rice bran cake, they are using for different purposes. And we thought, can we use this rice bran wax as a coating material instead of that paraffin wax? Can we use this rice bran wax? So in such a case, we started the research on using this crude fiber. We are doing some different operation, defatting and bleaching, and we got that refined wax. And along with that polysorbate, that emulsions, when we add these things and when we give the coating of this tomato, it gives the shelf life up to 21 days in the normal atmosphere. So that is the another area. So the researchers also we can and the property of this rice bran wax, which is similar to our carnauba wax, like organic wax. So that is also one of the area we can use this material for the waxing. And IAPT also supporting the industry for their like a consultancy mode as well as project mode. So here one of the thing evolve ethylene vinyl alcohol bags. So this company, they were approached us for evaluating these bags. So when we pack these food grains, particularly we conducted the study for that basmati rice, wheat, tur dal and chickpea. We packed around 600 kgs of these food grains individually in this bag. And this bag has the speciality, it has the low oxygen permeability value, so lesser than 20 centimeter cube by meter square per day, and that will support even that insects, the eggs are there. So during that storage period, it will not move to the another stage, larva, pupa, or adult. So because of that lower oxygen level, and particularly we found in the wheat and chickpea and tur dal, when we store, so automatically it is generating the carbon dioxide level because of that respiration, and these things also which is controlling the insects growth during the storage period. And another industry project we have done is microwavable pouches. Yeah. So as Sagasar said, so this is the current trend. Maybe nowadays the people are looking for this ready-to-eat food items. So directly you can place it in the microwave oven and you can consume it. The shelf life of the commodity is coming around 3 months. With that, I can conclude, as Sagasar said initially, the future packaging is mainly depending on that active and intelligent packaging. Apart from that, the sustainable packaging, smart packaging, easier opening packagings are very much important, and self-heating, self-cooling pans, and thermographic inks, particularly in the intelligent packaging. All these things are current need of the industry and as well as that consumers. So with that, I thank the organizing committee and for giving this opportunity. And this is our team who always support us for the research and other activities. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Anand Kumar. I think he has covered about the various research project what has been doing by his institute, but most of the research was related to active and active packaging and smart packaging. And he has also highlighted few of the projects, I think, which is quite interesting, that maybe the startup people can really get excited by the bioplate, which are from the jackfruit waste. I had recently visited to Tripura, and there also a lot of jackfruits are made. And how best then jackfruit waste material can be converted into a bioplate, and which can be edible kind of thing. And that's really eye-opening. I think many of the startup can think of it, what are the new research projects are going on in the various food processing institute. Thank you, Dr. Anand Kumar. Now I move on to the last speaker, Dr. Rajesh Mache, whom I know for a long time. Rajesh Mache is the chief scientist of the food technology and head of technology transfer business from a CFTRI. The Central Food Technology Research Institute is my alma mater because I studied about 30 years back on the same institute. He has got more than 29 years of experience in research and development at CFTRI, and he's an academic council member of the 2 university and past secretary and president of AFSTA. He's a very active member of the different professional body and technical body of FSSI, BIS, even he's in my BIS committee in the plastic packaging committee. So Rajesh Mache, I don't think you have got a present, you have any PPT or you will be just speaking for 5 to 10 minutes?
Yeah, very good evening, organizers, my respected director. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. As told by the organizers, as time is short, I am not putting any PPT. From morning, say 3 o'clock till now, I was listening to the speakers, and I thought that I will change the sequence of what I'm going to discuss. Now, as you know, Central Food Technology Research Institute, based out of Mysore, is a one-stop solution for food science and technology, including packaging. In food packaging, at present, we have more than 19 sponsored projects, plus 3 industry collaborative projects. I'm not going in details of this because of the confidentiality agreement which was signed with the parties. Now, we do a sort of a basic research, developmental research for the industry, as well as we do the service in terms of prediction of the shelf life, basically, and then the safety aspect of it. Now, coming back to the first speaker, when he said in the morning, with the COVID-19, a lot of things are happening, and people are even quarantining the packaging material and food. Now, I'll just start, maybe 3-4 minutes, I'll just touch upon how, even in my house, same thing happens. My wife says, if you're bringing something, some packaging material and you keep it outside, how long you keep it, what is the basis of it, whether there is any chance of spread of COVID-19 virus through the packaging material. Now, if you look at the basic thing of main ways the COVID-19 virus spreads, it basically spreads from person to person and through the contact with sneezing or cough droplets of the infected person. Now, can it catch through the packaging material? Let us see. Now, all the regulators, including Food Authority in India, as well as USFDA and WHO, basically, there's one small research work. I'm telling very small research work done in Princeton University. Now, what the research, they have taken only hardly 10 samples. The 10 samples, they have studied the stability of the virus at different surfaces. One is on the aerosol, then copper, I don't know why copper. Then you have some sort of cardboard. Then we have stainless steel and plastic. Very interestingly, there are 2-3 research done on the plastic surface. As Dr. Saab will appreciate, plastic, there are different types of plastics, and each surface of the plastic has different properties. So if you take LDPE and if you take PET, the surfaces are different, and their survival and the way it sticks to it is different. So based on these basic studies, where the aerosol, it stays for, say, more than 1 hour, copper less than, say, 4 hours, then paper, it is something like 24 hours. Steel and plastic, they say it takes more than, it stays more than 3 to 4 days. But this is with a standard deviation of more than 100%, and it is not even peer reviewed. Okay, so this is the basis where you are getting a lot of guidelines given by the regulatory authorities. And this is done at a particular temperature of 22 and 40% relative humidity, because this also is a factor of temperature and humidity. If you change, they will see in subsequent stages. Now, hello. Yes, sir.
सर मैं देख रहा था, इसमें तो सारे आदमी दिखाते भी हैं, तो आईसीसी का ये हालत है, इसमें तो कोई मेंबर ही नहीं है.
There is some disturbance. Yeah. Now there's one more study done by the Hong Kong University where what they say they have done it at 22 degrees centigrade temperature, 65% relative humidity. They have taken across different packaging material, including paper, glass, clothes, and they have come to some reasonable conclusion. Now, interestingly, if you look at these, the stability of the virus against different temperatures. If you keep it at 4 degrees centigrade, it can stay more than 20 days. But if you increase temperature,
Rajesh Rastogi, can you switch off your mobile? Yeah, please.
Yeah. So when you talk of the virus, not in the human body, but it on the surface, if you're keeping at 22 degrees centigrade, it stays only for 7 days. And if you increase the temperature from 37 degree, from 22 to 37, it stays only for a day. And at 56 degree, it stays less than 10 minutes. So this is where the stability of the virus comes. Now, it also is independent of pH. If you change the pH of the product or the surface, this virus stability is not affected. Now, another interesting part, the disinfection. Now, if you use different disinfectants, what happens? No, it gives an excellent result. But we have something called hand wash by soap water. Now, this Hong Kong University study says that if you use normal soap water, with dilution, with the usable dilution, it stays more than 5 minutes. So one thing, sometimes what you would say, we put soap water for say 20 seconds and the virus is killed. That may not be, I'm not sure. That is a question to you. It may not be the case. That is what the research says. So maybe we are draining off the virus into the drain. That can be possible, but the killing of the virus at particular soap solution, that is where the research says. Now, with all this, you've seen the coronavirus pandemic continues to rewrite the nature of the global society. Now, the immediate impact on the consumer concept about the viral exposure and the question hanging about the virus ability to survive on the surface may fuel to much longer lasting demand for new packaging material that exhibits the activity of antiviral and antimicrobiological properties. Today, if you have a packaging material which can take these properties, it can have a good demand. Now, there is something called as social distancing. With the social distancing, you can avoid the virus infection. But then what happens when you're going to the mall or you're purchasing something? You're picking some packaging material, you don't know that who has contacted this packaging material prior to you. Is there any sort of a droplets on the packaging material? So this is what happening in the mind of the consumer. Now, there are a lot of research going on in terms of the attitude and the behavior of the consumer in the area of sterilized society. Something called as a sterilized society concept is coming up. That means today, I want to be safer. I want to have a higher integrity of the packaging material and the innovation that provides the added assurance that can help you to remove the barrier and give the assurance to the consumer that your packaging material product is safe. That is where the whole issue is getting driven. Now, coming back to the guidelines issued by the FDA. FDA says that there is no evidence today that there is an infection or contamination or cross-contamination from the packaging material. So only, they say that there is no need of washing the packaging material. But only if you're using the packaging bag, shopping bag, which is reused, you need to clean it and wash it properly. They say that the cause of this respiratory illness is basically spread from person to person, and it is not foodborne like GI virus. So hence you need to look at it. Now, as I said, Food Authority has picked something from the particular paper which I referred, and this they are mentioning that the virus stays on a particular surfaces for a particular time period, and it doesn't give you a very clear guidelines on what happens. Like say, for instance, there's one more issue which is getting in when you have milk or curd packet which is cold store. Is there any chances of that something is along with that? That is where the issue which you need to do. But WHO guidelines, if you look at it, it also says very clearly there is no evidence of date of the virus spreading through food or packaging material. And interestingly, as this virus cannot multiply on food and packaging material, hence you need not have to worry as long as you are able to keep it hygienically packaging material in that particular state. Now, coming back to the interesting part, this is what happens to the packaging material, whether you keep it in sort of a quarantine and how long you keep it in quarantine, whether you wash and all that. Now, coming back to the challenges. Now, because of this COVID, what is the issue you need to address? When you're talking of fruits and vegetables, particularly fresh fruits and vegetables, they're respiring products. And in the process, what happens, it is a huge challenge. That's what you don't see much of the fruits and vegetables, particularly in India. They're packed either in modified packaging or controlled atmosphere packaging. They're all basically theoretical things. A little practical applications are there in some packets of the hand. But basically, it has a different challenges you need to address. Now, with a major challenge, I'll just wind up in a couple of minutes telling about the challenges and the new opportunities. Challenges are in terms of the new generation. They are looking for one-touch access information on the packaging. What is one-touch access? Today, you have smartphones and you need to know what is happening with my product and the packaging material in terms of whether it is biodegradability, in terms of its reusability or recycling levels, whether you can use it. So that sort of information you need to know. Another interesting part, you might have seen, this particular product is for export, this is for domestic one. Why is so? You should have one world, one food, whether it is for India. That's what Dr. Shah may appreciate, that in BIS and in Food Authority also, there's a talk why our standards should not be as stringent that as anybody else in the world. If somebody needs traceability outside the world or pesticide level outside the world, why we should not have a better standard than that? So you should have one food, one standard, one world. So in that case, you have a challenge of selecting a right type of packaging material to take it forward. Of course, you have huge competition. How aesthetically you can be better than your competitors. So that is where the package design, how optimally use the packaging material, that is where it goes. And go green. A lot of talks are going on about the go green. A lot of people say that they're developing biodegradable material. Some of them are even selling the biodegradable materials. Some of them are really biodegradable materials. Some of them are pseudo biodegradable materials. They disintegrate, but then they don't biodegrade. Sometimes the disintegration is more harmful than the normal packaging material. So hence we need to be very careful on that. Now, coming back to the future technologies, I tell you, when you're talking of active packaging system, you need not have to really worry about the words used. Now, say for instance, you have bread and you want to increase the shelf life of the bread. What happens? Oxygen is coming in or pizza is there. Oxygen is creating problem and oxygen is decreasing the shelf life. So you're using a barrier material. In spite of that also it is not happening. What do? You put another chemical, which is a food grade chemical and which competes with the food to take the oxygen and remove the oxygen which is not made available for the food. So that is a lot of things are happening, and we are working with a couple of startup companies. The challenge here in India is not to get these technologies. You can get the technologies available. You use some iron based, you use zinc based, you will get that. Or you were talking of ethylene scavenger, you use KMNO4, then you use activated carbon clays. It'll give you some sort of But the challenge here is how you can make the best out of it in terms of the cost competitiveness. If you are not able to do that, then it's better to import, and then you cannot compete in the cost. So that is where, yeah. Now coming back to the smart packaging, there was a question on the chat box. What is the difference between the active and smart? In this active packaging system, what you are doing? Actually, you are just removing some.
Machi, if you can wrap up. Yeah.
Wrap up. System, what we are doing, we are communicating with the consumer and linking with this. So with 1 minute, I'll give you a couple of examples. We have 3 case studies. This is a challenging case study. One is on the milk. When your milk gets spoiled, it should show the indication. But the challenge in milk, the cost of the indicator cannot be more than 5 paisa. No dairy fellow will use your packaging material or the indicator. And we have taken this challenge, and next 6 months down the line, you will have a smart packaging system which will tell you the spoilage of milk. Also, on the meat front, we have a sort of a bioactive compound which is coming out of the meat generation. There also is the same challenge. The cost has to be maybe less than few paisas. Then you can use even nanotechnology. We are using nanotechnology in some of these active packaging systems and smart packaging systems to drive your point. Now, these are some of the another issues is augmented reality. In next 1 or 2 years down the line, the consumers they want to interact with the actual product on the augmented reality, and that the packaging industry has to sustain with this. Now, another thing which I'm trying to tell, in the first session, even Joint Secretary and Dr. Saha said that there's a lack of fund on R&D. But I appeal to the companies and to the startup companies, please collaborate with the industry for R&D institute. We have 3 R&D institutes with you, but we are the one we are doing the hand-holding and not just giving the technology, but we are taking to the commercial level. That, what do you mean by commercial level? Because if you are on the lab scale, taking to the commercial level, the challenges are multifold. So we do the hand-holding and take it to there, and definitely that will be the place where we would love to see our product to get on the commercial level. So we have 4 products in pipeline, not giving only at TRS level 6, but taking to TRS level 9. That means it has to go, not launch. There is a difference between the launch and going all India launch, where it will go to across all length and breadth of the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Machi. I think Machi was trying to give you the factual position what actually we are facing in the lockdown stage. Yes, I also gone through some of the study which was done by a journal, as a research journal at the UK. They also say that how long this coronavirus can remain on the surface of the packaging material. Of course, they say, as he said, that the metal surface it takes longer time, but the best part is that the corrugated box or the paper packaging, it does not take more than few hours, because for our secondary packaging, when your takeaway food is coming at home, we are more concerned about the pizza box, how much time it is taking. So that's one of the good part in that. But what was his intention? What do we understand that he was trying to say the smart packaging, which is the need of the hour. People will be more and more thinking about the smart packaging, antimicrobial packaging, and I told in my opening remarks that people will be looking for a biosensor, and the sensor should say that this package is completely free from virus, because that's the kind of demand would be coming from the consumer. That's the biggest challenge for the food packaging area. People are not really looking for a longer shelf life. People are really looking for more traceability and more safety aspect. That becomes one of our priority sector. Thank you very much I know the CFTRI is one of the premier institute, and we feel proud that I'm a alma mater of CFTRI, and how this institute has grown over the last almost 60 years. It has been grown as a CSI lab. And this kind of work is really, as he rightly said, that industry's collaboration is very much. CFTR, of course, they do a lot of collaboration work with the industry, but it needs more. And that's the way the food processing industry can join hands with the packaging industry, and we can really do for the growth of this industry. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Mache, for your nice address to this audience. I think our time is too short. Madhuparna, you want to say some question, or I'll request you to give the summing up of this conference? Madhuparna.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah. You can just summing up. Yeah.
Yeah. Just because you have already given all the relevant points which was discussed today, and we are preparing a press note along with the note, the detailed report of today's deliberations. So, on behalf of Indian Chamber of Commerce, I thank everybody. Our special thanks to Dr. N.C. Shah, because who has moderated the session excellently. And we are thankful to IIP, we are thankful to CFTRI, IIFPT, and we are thankful to Tetra Pak for sponsoring this event, and all the members from the food processing industries, AIPI. Our special thanks goes to Mr. P. Dr. Jindal. We are really honored, and other eminent panelists who have spoken and addressed our members, not only members from the industry, some of the FPOs, self-help group, and MSME companies were also there. We had around 177 people attending this session. So with these words, we will keep in touch with everybody, and we will send the report to all of you for our future endeavor. And very rightly said, sir, under your guidance, Mr. Saab, we will form a task force along with AIFPI, Dr. Jindal and Mr. Kaul, Mr. Rastogi, and others from members of AIFPI, and with the support of Ministry of Food Processing, we will meet up again and we will set up a forum for the packaging industries and linking up with the food processing industries. So with these words, I thank you everybody, thank all our participants and attendees.
Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Madhuparna, for your nice summing up. I think we'll be in touch with you, and let's see that how we can form a task force. And
Absolutely,
I really like the idea about Dr. Zindal say that there is a need for a consortium. Where the industry, packaging supplier and all, and people like us, all the technocrat has to come together and makes a policy making how this industry can be take forward. Thank you so much. Thanks to all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Meran, Dr. Bidhan Das, Mr. Rastogi, Mr. Jindal, and Mr. Sugumar, Mr. Mache of CFTRI. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Exactly.